What's that smell? I smell burnout brewing. Oof, it's hot. If you've been scouring the language learning rabbit hole on YouTube, you've probably come across this at least once or twice. Definitely more than once or twice. Especially if you've stumbled upon anyone in the language acquisition camp. Anki is king. Well, maybe not that exact phrase, but it's likely you've heard about the importance of utilizing a spaced repetition software to supercharge your learning. 大家好，我是小 B, and I am an Anki addict. Last week you saw my video about being a meme addict. This week I'm an Anki addict. Handwritten flashcards? That's so medieval. Who even writes things by hand anymore? I know I don't. My handwriting is trash. We need that peak efficiency and we need it now. You get efficiency and you get efficiency and you get efficiency. We all get efficiency. But if you keep watching and watching and watching and watching, the rhetoric will gradually shift to watch me get singed by Anki, a step-by-step guide of how Anki burned me so bad that I quit language learning altogether. Okay, maybe it's not that serious, but just a little bit. Quick aside, have any of you heard the term singed before used in that context? Like getting singed by fire, but instead you're getting singed by a general idea or something else. It's generally in a negative connotation. My friend said it unironically and I was so shook. I have no idea what it is. Anytime that I say singed, I kind of want to be like, oof, singed. Or what is it, like the fire thing, getting burned. Yeah, burned. Back to Anki, why are there so many mixed opinions on it? Why do some swear by its efficacy while others seem to be traumatized on the reg? Am I cool enough to say that on the reg? No? Well, what about it's lit? Is that worse? That's kind of a little bit worse. It's lit. So my friend's just like, no, don't say slang. It doesn't fit you. But every time I say it's lit, I feel like Colonel Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist. It's just like, boo, boo. And I think part of the reason is our culture's tendency for perfection, while also misunderstanding the purpose of Anki, or at least in my opinion. That may be a hot take. Anki aficionados, don't come for me. I am one of you. I use it religiously every single day. But I've experienced this myself. The statistics function is both a gift and a curse. You see the tremendous progress that you make over time while also fearing the inevitable day when that'll all come crashing down and leaving you to bear the weight of thousands of cards to review. Hello darkness, my old friend. But why do we even have thousands of cards to review in the first place? And that brings me to my second critique of the way that we've come to utilize Anki. Go on any language learning subreddit or even on YouTube, and you'll find people telling you to download this Anki deck or that Anki deck that will take you through the first X number of words. We hop from pre-made deck to pre-made deck, with most just emphasizing learning the words and not actually how to use them in context. It's as if the moment we learn 10,000 words we'll be fluent, but clearly that is not the case. Now, pre-made decks are not bad. I mean my own deck for you guys. These decks in and of itself are not bad, but rather our viewpoint on the ultimate utility of these decks. Anki decks won't teach you a language. Anki decks help you to recall the language that you've already learned through other means. But why do so many of us use it as a way to learn new words? Do we spend half as much time immersed in books, podcasts, TV shows, movies as we are doing reps in Anki? What's that smell? I smell burnout brewing. So then how can we use Anki without getting singed? Use it for what it was intended for. Recall, not learning. Okay, Bianca, but what do you mean by that? What's the difference between recall and learning? If you want to learn the HSK series, for example, don't just download an Anki deck going through each level. Go through the book yourself. Take the time to study the dialogues, learn how these words are used, and then review it in Anki. And this is exactly how I structured my own cards too. When I make my own cards, I have rules for myself. Okay, more like guidelines. Make cards after you've went through the entire resource, whether that be a book, TV show, episode, a movie. Watch through the entire thing first. Study it, review it a few times. And then 2, make cards with the exact sentence that you encountered the word in. Don't just take it out from isolation. I also don't make cards every day. That's just not a part of my general language learning workflow. I prefer batch imports, doing cards after I've completed a resource. See, point 1. Matt vs. Japan would be rolling in his grave, except he's very much alive. I prioritize immersing. And then I make cards after I've reviewed a word in the context of a story or a dialogue a few times. Making a card is another act of review. And then by the time that I actually do the card in Anki, I'm already actually familiar with it. My Anki time is pretty much cut in half because I rarely need to use the learn button. I only use easy or repeat. I know the words fairly well already, so reviewing new cards isn't actually reviewing new cards. I'm reviewing cards that I've already seen 4 or 5 times at that point, and perhaps in different circumstances, in different contexts anyway. Anki doesn't teach me the words. It helps me to remember the words that I've already learned in the long term. And that's how I've been able to use Anki without burnout. I go through a textbook level or a TV show episode or a podcast a few times. I study it. I look up the words that I need to know, see how they fit in context. Then I make cards for all of the new words with their corresponding sentence, add audio, add pinning, and batch import. Only then do I add new cards to my current list. Haven't experienced burnout yet using that method. And part of the reason for that is I don't actually have pressure to make new cards every day. Finding really high quality words, really high quality sentences is actually kind of hard. In the beginner level, oftentimes the sentences have too many unknown words where it's just, you can't use it. When you're advanced, it's harder to find new words to actually make a card for. So you have the added pressure of making new cards as well as completing the cards that you've already had. So then how can we mitigate this? Just keep doing Anki on words you pretty much know fairly well. Use Anki as a way to maintain. It's a maintenance type of thing. But you may be asking, Bianca, this mindset shift is so helpful, but how do I actually do this? How do I apply this to my own learning? How do I make my own cards? How do I use Anki for myself without burnout? Why, that is a fine question, young Padawan, and soon you too shall know all of these secrets, the art of Anki sans burnout. And tune in next week for the answer to that question. Next week, I'll go through a in-depth guide of how to create Anki cards starting from the resource itself. So I'll show you how do you go from a dialogue, a text, or just anything, select the words that are ideal to make an Anki card for, and then the process of making those cards. How do I add the pinning? How do I add the audio? How do I put these things together? And then how do I actually put them into Anki? So tune in next week for that. But if you like this video, please leave a like, a comment, a share, and subscribe. And let me know, have you guys ever experienced Anki burnout in the past? Are you currently going through it? What is helping you not burn out, or what has caused you to burn out? Let me know so we can all talk about it and see if there's any things that we can do better to prevent this from happening. Because again, Anki is a super useful tool, but is there a better way to use it? We'll see. But I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next week for part 2 of this video. Have a good one. 再见.